Dan, what did you make of Russ's debut?
Yeah, we got to give Russ some flowers here. I do think he played well after that kind of slow starting first quarter, naturally be, the time away from the game. I think the thing that stood out was George Pickens made plays one-on-one. That's the real difference in the performance of the offense, specifically to the quarterback. But I do think it is important to point out that on those plays that Pickens made one-on-one, the difference in Russell's throws and Justin's throws are the air. Russ puts the ball up in the air and allows those guys to kind of track that football really well and try to go make a play on it. Justin's more of a driver of the football. So, again, I don't think that this was some masterful performance, but I will say that some of those plays that were made down the field by George in those one-on-one situations are in part because of the air that Russell put underneath those throws to go make some of those plays.
You know how with certain receivers, they'll say a 50-50 ball is more like an 80-20 ball? With George Pickens, it might be 95-5. I mean, he is quite possibly the best contested catch receiver in the NFL right now. And to Dan's point, the Steelers' offense was successful in this game largely because of Russell Wilson's willingness to throw him those balls. Frankly, an underthrown ball to George Pickens is a good ball because of his ability to work backwards, as we saw there, and make impossible catches. So, I think moving forward for the Steelers, that formula, whereas with some receivers, I'd say, I don't know how sustainable it is, low percentage throws outside the numbers. But when you have George Pickens, it actually is the right formula, and it definitely worked against the New York Jets.
Yeah, I also think what you saw was Arthur Smith understanding who Russell Wilson is. When you look at that drive in the third quarter that ends with the score, there's the pick play from a bunch formation to George Pickens down the sideline that Russell underthrows, but George Pickens makes the catch on the tip. And then there's also the pick play that involves Freiermuth and Pickens on the outside, where Freiermuth gets up the field and catches the football with one hand. And then you saw the run game. You also saw the boot game, getting Darnell Washington involved. And so I felt like Arthur Smith took a step forward with a little bit of confidence that he had in Russell Wilson that seemed like he wasn't thinking about necessarily protecting him the way that he protected Justin Fields. And when Mina and Marcus and I talked on Friday, we wondered what would change. And what changed to me was the confidence the play caller had in the guy quarterbacking his team.
Yeah, explosive plays too, RC, like we talked about. Here's the thing that happened, though. Mike Tomlin told the whole world, stay out of grown folk business, all right? And we all watched and saw Justin Fields have some success, but the element of explosive plays is exactly what he was betting on, and it came to fruition. And I'm with you, Dio. I don't think all of those throws were great. It was just the willingness to throw them. And your point, RC and MK, the play calling of Arthur Smith, the confidence that he had to know that I'm going to push the ball down the field regardless. So out of all of the things that we enjoyed about seeing Justin Fields play, I still felt, even though I thought he should have continued to be the starter, I still felt like there was a lot left to be desired with that passing game, especially the explosive play area, and it came to fruition against the Jets.
Yeah, so there's a little bit, okay. One, I thought the Jets not having Sauce, specifically in man coverage, shadow George Pickens multiple times was ridiculous. The second touchdown pass, he's covering a tight end. So that's something that the Jets got to handle. And I do think Russ moved in the pocket better than I kind of anticipated. But I think the best way to sum up the difference in the quarterback play and the impact on the offense was last night Russell was comfortable and willing to throw to people who were covered and giving them the chance to go make a play. Yeah. Justin doesn't necessarily have that in his bag right now. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but it is something for him as a young player that continues to grow, watching as long as I can put air on those balls. That's the big difference, the air on the football, and allow those guys to make some of those plays. Can I get to where Russell got to that performance-wise?
It's hard to have that in your bag when you know if you don't play great or you turn it over, they're going to make you pack your bags and go to the sideline.
Behind you, right? RC, why was this Lions offense so good?
I do want to say one thing before I talk about this offense. Think about the way this game started. They had to face so much adversity. You fake a punt and you're stopped. There's also a 4th and inches where you get a penalty and you don't have an opportunity to go for it. The punch out late by Metellus and the pace touchdown. They just kept coming back time after time and making plays on the offensive end. They had such a great plan for the blitz. They understood how they would be attacked up front, and they always had a scheme that slid to the active blitzer and not the dropper. And then they also found the holes in the coverage behind some of those simulated pressures and those 5-man fire zones with split safeties. I thought everything that Ben Johnson did was in anticipation of how Brian Flores would attack him, and then they put the Minnesota Vikings on their heels as a defense, which is something we haven't seen this entire season.
Yeah, 14 for 16 against this Vikings blitz is an insane stat line. And it's a testament to Goff and also to, as RC highlighted, Ben Johnson. This team was so prepared for their pressures. It was incredible to see. My favorite play, I mean, there were, obviously from the stats, a ton of great plays against the blitz, but the Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdown here. So you got David Montgomery staying in a pass protect. Tim Patrick coming cross in motion, draws the safety, but then he stays into block, so Jared Goff is covered up. Because of the motion, the safety comes down, and you get Amon-Ra St. Brown for the touchdown. Patrick, by the way, has been a tremendous addition because of what you see there, the blocking ability. But that, to me, is a play caller who knows exactly what's coming on defense, and then a quarterback willing to make those difficult throws against the Vikings split safety looks.
Doing this show with y'all crazy as hell. You and RCMK just went to an area where I wanted to go to. It was the first time I saw someone make Minnesota back off the line of scrimmage. It was crazy how they got away. Mina, I'm going back to your Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdown, but I'm going to show you a different view of it with Penei Sewell. This is actually why these guys are what they are. That is, listen, it does not happen without that block, without him feeling that pressure. And then in the run game, he gets a chip here with a seal. Everybody presses to get back in their gap, and it's a cutback. There were plays time and time again where you see one individual, two individuals creating opportunities for their teammates. And Penei Sewell had arguably one of the best games as an offensive lineman I've seen this year when I was looking at the trenches, because I was super interested in how they would handle the pressure and even in his one-on-one situations. But there's time and time again on that tape where there is if I don't get a hand on this guy or if I don't serve body presence, it's going to be a hit on Jared Goff as opposed to it being a 10, 15-yard shot down the field.
A lot of bests for the Lions in this game for me. Number one, it's one of the best games I've ever seen Jared Goff play. Two, I think it's the best offensive plan I've seen from anybody this year. And I think Jared Goff and Ben Johnson are one of the best going right now when it comes to offensive coordinator and quarterback combination. He made second down the most important down in the game, okay? 2nd down and 6. He's peeking at safety. Guys, he's got the bubble up top. You're anticipating that pressure that you guys were talking about. Safety, if you pop back and that linebacker triggers, I'm not running the football. I'm not handing it off. I'm going to pop this bubble out there because I don't want to get to 3rd down. Jared Goff sees that linebacker walks up, ball comes out of his hands. This is outstanding perimeter blocking by Jameson Williams. Great. We don't go to 3rd down. We're going 1st down, 2nd down, 1st down. 2nd and 6. Again, here comes Amon-Ra in that motion, getting into the 4-by-1 formation. I'm not getting to 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 4. I'm just going to catch this ball, kick the ball out to Jahmyr Gibbs, and I have 3-on-3. I'm now making sure that we're playing aggressive when it comes to our style of football. Ball to the perimeter right now. At worst, I'm getting into 3rd and 1. 2nd and long. Mina, this is your point. Now, here's the thing that I find fascinating. 7 guys up for the defense. Tim Patrick motioning over is the 7th protector with the back. Ben Johnson knew that they were going to bring 7, and he said, I want a hat for a hat. Jared realizes, okay, there's that 4 across defense, and Amon-Ra, I don't want the double move at the bottom of the screen. I actually want the seam. Those were all on 2nd down. We so often have talked about Minnesota's defense on 3rd down, and we've talked about on this show, don't get to it. And I thought it was brilliant by Ben. I'm not even going to live there. I'm going to go 1st down. It was, for me, guys, it was like his 1st down call was his 2nd down, and his 2nd down call was a 3rd down because he never wanted to get the 3rd down.
The Chiefs 6-0 to start the season, despite Patrick Mahomes having just 6 passing touchdowns compared to 8 interceptions. He is the 6th quarterback since 1950 to start 6-0 while having more interceptions than passing touchdowns. He's the first to do it since Peyton Manning for the eventual Super Bowl champion Broncos in 2015. Mahomes has gone consecutive games without a passing touchdown for just the 2nd time in his career. And RC, if you're not a Chiefs fan, you're like, how do they keep doing this? Like, how do they keep winning these games? So I'll ask you that question. How are they able to do it?
Listen, every team is imperfect, and only one team has a perfect record, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. And, I know we're going to get to the run game and to the defense. And what I say about those two things is normally they just get Patrick Mahomes to the party. And what the party is situational football moments. And when you get into those times, that's where Patrick Mahomes makes plays, whether it's scrambling up in the pocket and hitting Noah Gray or finding ways to put McCole Hardman in place in the red zone to run a jet sweep, the second one of the day, and finding and making sure that his playmakers have opportunities to get the football and then using his legs to break your back. After that 33-yard run, there was also a 4th and 4 from the red zone where they go empty and he runs Mustafa over in the end zone. He just understands exactly what he needs to do at the right moments, and that defense is playing well, and also Kareem Hunt carrying the run game.
Yeah, if there's a theme for this Chiefs offense, it's just enough, right? Like they always do just enough to keep the chains moving, and that really is reflected in the run game. Kareem Hunt, if you look at his box score for this game, it's only 3.5 yards per carry. That doesn't sound great, but he had a 50% success rate, which is actually very good because he was doing just enough. In fact, the Chiefs actually have the second lowest number of explosive runs this season, meaning 10 yards or more, but they lead every single team in the NFL in success rate on the ground. When they need 4 yards, they are getting 5. When they need 3 yards, they are getting 4. It is the most efficient rushing attack in football, and that's without Isaiah Pacheco.
The Chiefs are undefeated and absolutely need to make a trade for a wide receiver. And it becomes evident and more evident by the week. Think about it this way, guys. Okay, so I love their 12 personnel. I mean, a little bit of what you're talking about in their run game. 12 personnel, 1 back, 2 tight ends. They're very good running the football. And they're very good throwing the football and everything but the interceptions. So Patrick's thrown 8 interceptions this season, right? If you take away the one that went off Juju Smith-Schuster at the goal line against the Saints last weekend that got popped up in the air, there's 7 interceptions left over. 6 of them are thrown to when he's targeting a tight end or Xavier Worthy. So you're sitting here as an offense and you're going, we love getting into 12 personnel because we can run it and it helps us in our play action game. But there's something going on when it comes to the interceptions that are either targeted to Kelsey, targeted to Noah Gray or Folson, or Xavier Worthy. There's 1 interception this season that has been thrown to another targeted guy other than those tight ends or Worthy, and that's week 1 against the Ravens when he was trying to hit Rasheed Rice. So if you're sitting there being honest and to go win the Super Bowl, they need another viable pass-catching threat, and maybe that helps get some of these interceptions out of the conversation.
Yeah, sorry, Dan. A reminder that the trade deadline is November 3rd, so we'll see what maybe they do there. Now, Swag, we got all the way through this. Everybody's talking about the offense, but how about that defense? They did enough to make sure that this game would be won for them. How did they do it?
It's why they 6-0. This defense is the reason they're 6-0. I just was enamored after I went back and watched this game, RC. We talk about it all the time. They very rarely make mental errors. And they always are ready for the little nuanced things that teams does well. You'll see the linebacker Chenal in this situation. Everything about this play is telling you to trigger and go get the quarterback. But it's a run play. But instead, he feels this use check, almost a simulated block, and then gets out on the wheel route. He covers it. And then here, you play in the hole. You play like a little robber. They bring a defensive lineman as a late add-on. So we give Spags a lot of credit for what he does with this defense. The more and more I'm starting to dig into the Chiefs defense and try to understand why they're so good. The reason they're so good is because they're so smart.
Yeah.
They may be the smartest football team defensively in the league. There's a lot of people playing good defense, and some of it is athleticism. Some of it is you just got a couple superstars that make a tremendous amount of plays. Very rarely do you see the Chiefs out of position or something that you do well not taken away throughout the course of the game.
Yeah, I think the big thing is, though, like Mina said, they do just enough. When you think about some of those 3rd and short situations with Jordan Mason's, the tackles for loss, Trent McDuffie had one that was on the goal line in the red zone. And so they find ways to make plays in every level of their defense. Bolton getting his hand on a quick slant from Brock Purdy, the interception in the end zone. They do so much, but it's also Spagnuolo finding out the exact time to call the exact perfect blitz, and I think that helps this team as well.